Okay, you need to hear these. First up, a nurse gets dragged off their precious day off to move one single patient between hospitals, and what they did for the next 5 hours in that waiting room has the whole internet picking sides. Then, a college student steps up for her little niece after her family is hit with the absolute unthinkable, and somehow ends up branded the villain for daring to have a life of her own. Two people doing something, two families completely losing it. Oh, you're not ready for where these go. A nurse picks up one last gig on their hard-earned day off to transport a single patient between hospitals, and the agency on the other end of that phone is about to learn exactly what arrogance gets you. Apologies to anyone who already read this in another sub, but it got removed due to their strict rules about workplace conflicts. I'm a nurse. This happened last Tuesday. After working 6 days straight, I was finally going to have my 2 days off when an agency I occasionally work for called me desperately needing someone to transport a patient between hospitals the next day. I said no at first because I needed a rest, but they insisted and raised the money a lot, so I accepted since they pay by the hour. Everything was set for 8 a.m. at Hospital X in the orthopedics ward. I woke up early, tired as hell, but for the money I went with a big smile. 10 minutes before 8 a.m., I got in the elevator and saw a patient on a stretcher with a paramedic. We said good morning and went different ways. I got to the second floor and asked a nurse for my patient. The place was a total mess with tons of surgeries and discharges. I called the agency to say I was waiting and couldn't find the EMT. They told me he was probably arriving soon, so I just sat down and waited. After 50 minutes, I told the nurse I was waiting for Mr. Triple X from room 110. I didn't mention his last name or why I was there. She said he was being prepared. So I sat down again, playing Candy Crush on my phone without worrying because, hey, I was getting paid. An hour later, I called the agency again to tell them I still didn't have the patient and no sign of the EMT. The lady on the phone was super arrogant and told me to just wait because I gave my availability, I was being paid, and there was no need to be in a hurry since the EMT knew the situation. I was furious but stayed polite and hung up. Kept playing my game. Then the nurse came over smiling and asked if I had seen Mr. Triple X yet. I said no. Her eyes went wide, and she asked why I was waiting for him. I told her I was there to transport him. She tried to hold in a laugh, and then it clicked. The guy I saw in the elevator at 8 a.m. was my patient. The guy in room 110 with the same name was there for surgery. The agency completely messed up and sent 2 teams. I was mad. I was on my day off being treated like a fool. But since the agency was so rude to me on the phone, I decided to go eat lunch. Then I came back, sat down, played more games, and organized my personal schedule. Around 4 p.m. my phone was dying, so I finally called the agency and acted surprised, telling them that a nurse just told me the patient left at 8 a.m. with another team, and there must have been a transport mistake. In the end, I sat there for almost 5 hours eating and playing games, knowing I wouldn't do any work while getting paid a really good hourly rate. I know I probably didn't act completely right, but on my day off, after they spoke to me like that, I felt like I didn't deserve their attitude. Am I the asshole for making money I shouldn't have? Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, "Sounds like you covered your obligations to both sides of the equation." Another commenter said, "You were told to wait and you did what your employer directed. You are not responsible for the agency's inability to schedule correctly. Come on, they called, they checked in, they did exactly what the agency ordered them to do. The agency double-booked the whole job, got snippy on the phone, and still expected a 5-star attitude in return. The internet is not even a little bit divided on this one. Not the asshole." If you're enjoying these stories so far, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more. A 23-year-old uni student and her parents step up to help care for her little niece through the worst tragedy a family can face, and somehow end up accused of abandoning the child. I, 23 female, live with my parents and studying at uni in my city. So I have a cousin A, 33 male, who married some 5YRS back. He had a kid, my niece, 3 years ago. 1 year later, he moved to another country for a promotion. His wife and kid lived in our city some streets from my home. His wife worked in some company that we met him and his family a few times during family gathering and parties. One day, he visited my home before moving to another country and told us how his wife had a rare cancer. It was in last stage and how they were exhausting all options for treatment. We told him to try treatment in other countries, but he said he already consulted and the best was available in our country. He said she was responding well to the treatment, so there was no concern. He asked to take care of his kid if there was any emergency. We agreed to it. 5 months ago, my cousin's wife became hospitalized. We did whatever help we could. The kid was primarily taken care of by our grandparents, both my cousin and his wife's, And we took her for dress shopping, playdates, and brought her little gifts to cheer her up. She's 4 years old. We offered some money too. The thing is my parents both work, and they leave the home at 9 in the morning and return by 5 in the eve. Same for me. So we couldn't always be with the kid. Unfortunately, the kid's mom passed away last month. I took the kid to my home on the day of the funeral, and we took care of her for 3 days. After that, we sent her home to be taken care of by her grandparents. My parents often visited her or brought her to our home often to cheer her up for like a week. Then I became busy, exams were near. So I didn't visit the kid often. My parents, too, got stuck up at work. Now my cousin and his parents started accusing us of abandoning the kid. They have currently gone no contact with us. I told them I feared she was getting too attached to us and that we can't give her the care she deserves. They don't believe us and say we are saying excuses to avoid responsibility. Edit. Thanks, everyone. I don't think my cousin is a cheater. He was a good guy. He probably thinks money solves everything and wanted to earn more to take care of his family. He was with his wife in the last moments and at the funeral, too. He was with her during the last stage for like a month before she died. He stayed in the hospital, too, for like a month. He said his boss allowed him to be remote during that time. When I said she was getting too attached because she started crying when leaving our home, it broke our hearts. I said we want to be at home all day, so she can't stay at our home for longer than the night or full day. She could do it only at weekends. She didn't understand why she couldn't stay, but she also didn't want to sleep over or stay at our house for a long time. She just wanted to play. Those days during the funeral, I or my parents took leave in turns. Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, "The father is avoiding responsibility by not moving back to be with his child or moving the child to be with him. He is solely responsible for his child." Another commenter said, "Daddy needs to come back and be a parent. He has no place chastising you when he hasn't been parenting his own kid." This one stings, but the verdict is crystal clear. She's a full-time student, her parents both work, and they all showed up when it mattered most. The funeral, the gifts, the playdates, even the money. The one person mysteriously missing from this entire story is the kid's own dad, sitting comfortably in another country. The community isn't buying that guilt trip for 1 second. Not the asshole. What would you have done in this situation? Let me know in the comments. So what's the call? Did either of these two actually cross a line? Or is the internet right straight down the board? Drop your verdict in the comments. I read every single one. And tell me which story made your blood boil more. I got a whole fresh stack of even wilder and the asshole stories lined up and ready. So stick around. The next one just might top both of these.